So, what do you need to feel free, to be yourself, to feel grounded and empowered? What would give you the courage to take up more space, express your deepest creative desires in a more confident way? In this video, I am going to talk to you about 4 essential practices to building a more loving relationship with yourself and how to use this foundation to fuel your creative desires, your confidence, and ability to take creative risks. So, my name is Danica, and I am a certified Wayfinder life coach, an ICF accredited coach, an author, and many other things. But more importantly, I specialize in helping women just like you find your voice, know your value, and trust yourself above all else. So, if you're new to my channel, welcome. So glad you stopped by, but let's get right into it. So, essential practice number 1, prioritizing time alone. How can we know what we really want or who we really are if we are not willing to spend time with ourselves? In the beginning of my own inner journey, I was afraid to be alone. And I've noticed this pattern with some of my clients too. So if you find yourself staying in constant motion, it's maybe because you don't have to feel anything, especially the emotions that we label as negative. You can suppress them, you can deny them, or just flat out avoid them if you stay in constant motion. And it's understandable because nobody wants to feel bad. But there's also this myth in the self-help world that all we need to do is be positive and somehow our life will just get better. But what we actually need to learn how to do is be real with ourselves. And that starts by giving ourselves permission to slow down, to feel our feelings, and express exactly what we think and feel in a safe space. Your emotions are your friends, they are messengers, not your enemy. So, creating a daily practice of listening to yourself is how you can create the clarity and confidence to act in your own best interest because you will be connected to your spirit. So, what is one way you can create space in your daily life to deepen this connection to yourself? Let's move on to essential practice number 2, boundaries. So think of boundaries as a way of protecting yourself and your energy rather than a way of controlling or punishing others. So maybe you find yourself consistently feeling frustrated, angry, drained, or resentful in some of your current relationships. This is often a sign that your boundaries have been crossed, and it is an opportunity to sit down and clarify what your boundaries actually are. This will empower you to make decisions that align with your overall well being. And one simple way to start exploring and clarifying your boundaries is asking yourself a few questions. Questions like, what does emotional safety mean to me? And then maybe a follow-up question is, how will I know I am safe? And what does that actually look like in real time? So when you take the time to clarify your real needs and expectations in your relationship, it becomes easier to see who is available and willing to meet your needs and who is not. This awareness will allow you to redirect your time and energy away from those who cannot give you what you need, and more towards those, again, who can and are available to meet your needs and want to. I want you to see boundaries as a form of self-love. They allow us to intentionally create relationships that bring out the best in us and avoid putting time and energy into the ones that simply are not compatible with who we are and they drain us. So think about what is one of your non-negotiables for a healthy relationship with yourself. And what does that look like with others? And moving on to essential practice number 3, speaking well of yourself. And this message is especially for my overachievers, because I've noticed this pattern in myself through the years, and again, in those I consistently coach. And it is this attempt to use negative self-talk to fuel your actions, but then feeling terrible in the process. And then this shows up like as a tendency to focus on what is missing and what is lacking. At the beginning of my own inner journey, when I was consistently writing first thing in the morning, I noticed a pattern. I would be bombarded with negative thoughts and opinions about myself, especially as I entertained the idea of doing more of what I love to do, like becoming a published writer or making, creative play a priority. So I frequently heard this inner voice say things to me like, who do you think you are? You can't do that. You're so full of yourself. You're selfish. You're unrealistic. And on it went. But these negative thoughts brought up secret doubts inside of myself. And what I know to be true now is that they will continue to come up as you dream bigger dreams, and you must actively work to dismantle them. And one effective way to do this is by creating a daily practice of affirming yourself. Again, this is especially for my high achievers. I am talking to you. I get it. But again, this tendency to focus on the next goal or the next achievement or the next this, the next that, takes us out of the present moment. And it also like forces you to kind of ignore and forget like all of the things you've already done or accomplished, right? Because it's always not enough. So I'm seeking more. But more importantly, taking the time to just like acknowledge and remember what you like, love, and respect about yourself, and using that self-knowledge and love of who you are to fuel your actions. So, what is one thing you love about yourself as you are right now? Remind yourself daily, it will change everything. And so let's move on to the last essential practice, prioritizing having fun. And I know this sounds scary for most of my high achievers, again, because it goes against the social norms that we have here in the West. The idea of work being more important than enjoying our lives is the norm. And having fun or prioritizing fun at best is viewed as an afterthought to tend to once we do the real work, the real jobs, and complete the most important tasks of the day or the week. So, in other words, prioritizing having fun is seen as a waste of time, frivolous, and of no real value to adults, right? So I used to believe this too. And let me tell you, I was a very unhappy person to be around because all I did was work. I had no time for my creativity, my relationships, or to do activities I really enjoy, like travel, reading, listening to music, going to the live theater, connecting with new people in meaningful ways. Yeah, none of that was there. So, focusing all of my energy solely on work left me feeling dead inside. Prioritizing fun is actually fuel for your spirit. It is a necessity, not an afterthought. It creates it creates a virtuous cycle of inspiration, energy, and creative possibility, as long as it is connected to something that makes you truly feel alive. And if you're unsure of what that might be, the quickest way to access what authentic fun is for you is to think about some of the favorite things you love to do as a kid between the ages of 8 and 10 years old. Something that just brought your soul pure joy. And if you can think of many things, great. The more the merrier. But making time for these childhood loves weekly is great. If you can make this a daily practice, even better. Because again, prioritizing fun fuels innovation, productivity, deep fulfillment, and presence in your everyday life. So, how do these practices relate to fueling creative desires, confidence, and your ability to take creative risks? So, when we take the time to listen to ourselves, the way forward becomes clear, one step at a time. When we value ourselves, we put boundaries in place to protect our most important asset that we can't get back, our time. And when we make it a habit to speak well of ourselves, it fuels our confidence and our creativity and our ability to take imperfect risks to make our dreams come true. And finally, when we prioritize play, joy and pleasure in the process becomes our normal MO rather than waiting to enjoy our lives someday in the future. So that's it for now. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it with others and subscribe to my channel. Feel free to share your thoughts about these practices below, like what practice seems like the easiest to implement and which one seems like the most challenging. And also, if you would like more tips and strategies on how to create a better relationship with yourself, fuel your creativity, and increase your capacity to take risks on your own behalf, sign up for my newsletter, Creative Currents. You can find the link below. And again, until next time, my friend, stay creative, stay true, and allow yourself to have a little bit more fun today.